The sea lay quiet, black if not for the pale gleam that shone across its surface as the stars above peered down, silent if not for a faint howl as the wind screamed over the striding waves. Its immensity was broken only by the great wall of ice that marked the ancient boundary between the frozen continent and the vast waves of ocean that hugged its shores. The water's glassy surface was shattered by the slow progress of a single aging vessel, its huge steel hull made to seem delicate and fragile by the enormous mass of water it traversed. Dwarfed by its surroundings, it crept gently towards the shore, like a beetle wandering across the palm of a hand which could clench at any moment. Dr. Gray awoke to the sound of 3 solemn knocks at his cabin door. He moved slowly as he attempted to will himself to leave the relative warmth of his bunk. Pulling a woolen jumper over his head, he stared at the moonlight streaming through his porthole, giving the room a ghostly appearance. His glance lingered for a moment on the token his father had given him before his departure, a small carving of a knight that he had accepted somewhat embarrassingly. It had been some time since the two of them had been close, and this minuscule character had obviously represented some distant connection, when the two had once shared happier memories, though he doubted that had been the conscious motivation. However, it was clear he'd at least meant well, so he packed it nonetheless, humorously thinking it might offer him some kind of symbolic protection. Its wooden blade was rather sharp after all. Putting the thoughts of his minuscule protector aside, he stiffly made his way to the door, wrenching it open and forcing his way out into the corridor, a hellish steel tube dripping with the ship's sweat. He moved through an uncomfortable angle, nearly tripping as he fell into the open air which struck him squarely in the face, the cold swiftly filling every inch of his lungs, the briefly pleasant sensation quickly turning to a hot and shivering pain. The sky was still dark as he looked up, an immense abyss dotted with cold lights. Silently he made his way over to the ship's edge. There was no one else on the deck, no other ghost to provide an ill company. He stared out across the water, grimacing at his quarry as it slowly approached, inching its way towards him, becoming larger with each passing moment. The place that would be his home for however long his studies lasted sat with a cruel smile, dim lights creating a small halo on the ice, aerials and dishes crowding its squat roof, the only warm hearth for several thousands of miles, yet it still somehow managed to look so cold. He resigned himself to the thought of having to make its acquaintance, something which had approached so swiftly it could have easily been a nightmare.